units about astronomy. First off, what is astronomy? Astronomy is the study of
space.
The study of solar system, the universe, space, whatever you want to put in that blank is good, right? That is what astronomy is. What have we learned so far about astronomy from what we've been reading, what you've been reading? Maddie?
That not only the Earth circles the sun, but the moon circles the Earth.
Perfect. She says not only does Earth orbit around the sun, but the moon is orbiting around Earth while we orbit the sun. Good. Zayden?
And we take 365 days to go around the sun, and the Earth only takes a month to go around us.
Perfect. So the Earth, takes 365 days, a full year to go around the sun, but it only takes the moon how long to go around us?
A month.
1 month. Good.
So the moon goes around us 12 times.
12 times in 1 year. Perfect. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
Why do we see the moon in the day?
Just the way the sun reflects off of it. What about, are we straight up and down?
No, we're diagonal.
We are tilted on an axis, right? We are tilted on an axis. And what are we doing on that axis?
Spinning.
We are slowly turning around it, right? And what does that cause for us?
Day and night.
For it to be day and night, right? When we're turned closest towards the sun, it's daytime. And when we're turned furthest away from the sun, it's nighttime. How long does it take us to turn one full rotation on our axis?
24 hours.
24 hours, right? A full day, 24 hours. What about seasons? How does our tilted axis affect seasons?
Because whenever it's closer to the sun, it's summer. And when it's farther from the sun, it's still warm, but not as warm.
Good. So when we're tilted closest to the sun, and the sun is beating on us and it's hotter, it's going to be summer. And when we're pointed furthest away from the sun isn't beating as hard on us, and it's winter, right? So what are we getting ready to approach? Are we going to be closest to the sun or furthest away from the sun? Closest to the sun, right? We're getting ready to come up on summer. We're currently in spring, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So today, our target for today is that we can read informational text about the inner planets and make connections between main ideas and the paragraphs that are in our reading. So what we're going to be reading today is called The Planets Closest to the Sun: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Those are our planets closest to the sun.
Chapter 3.
Before we get into reading chapter 3 today, we're going to go over some key vocabulary that's going to help us out while we're reading. The first one is your naked eye. If it's your naked eye, it's with just your eyes, without the use of instruments. Okay, so just your naked eye without the use of instruments. That means if you wear glasses or contacts, your naked eye is not a naked eye unless you have no glasses on your eyes or no contacts, right? Right? So your naked eye is just your eyes without the use of instruments. And probe. Probe is a tool used to explore something such as outer space. So has anyone ever seen pictures of what these in outer space, right?
That was on a movie.
Yeah, most of the time we see them on movies. Those are called probes. And probes just help us take a look at what outer space is looking like, what outer space is doing, what's happening in outer space, okay? Helps us explore and learn about outer space since we can't always be in outer space, right? And since there's not a lot of people that can go to outer space, right?
And there was one in this movie where
Okay, are we talking about movies?
are those the
Yeah, they're out there right now. And they help take pictures, and videos and let us be able to explore space down here on Earth since we can't all be up there, right? All right. Perfect. So let's go ahead and start reading. We're going to do our popcorn reading just like we did the other day. So everyone should have turned to your table of contents. Go to chapter 3. Starts on page 24. On page 24. Remember, if you popcorn read on someone and they do not want to read, just politely say, I would not like to read, and we'll go on to the next person. Make sure if you are reading in the classroom that you have a nice, loud voice so everybody can hear what you're saying, okay? Yes, Olivia? Yeah, shoot us off with a nice, loud voice.
A planet Earth is one of 8 planets in our solar system. Back of it, around the sun, the other planets are
Mercury,
Venus, and Mars. Jupiter, Saturn,
Venus,
and
Neptune.
People have been looking at the planets for thousands of years. People from
Mesopotamia,
Mesopotamia, the Greek man,
Mayans,
and past and past were all in the planets that they used just those naked eye to study the planets. Now we have telescopes and other tools that help us get a better look at the planets.
everybody flip the page. Choose the popcorn reading. So Olivia's choosing someone.
The 4 planets closest to the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are small planets. These planets have a rocky or solid surface. Mercury and Venus are closer to the Sun than Earth. The other planets are farther away. Earth needs 365 days to make one orbit around the Sun, equivalent of 1 year on Earth.
Perfect. Can you call on someone else?
Alan.
Nope. Oh, where are we at? Nope. Nope. We're on the very last paragraph. Make sure you're following along. Make sure if we're reading, we're following along. Everyone should have their finger where we're at.
The closest a planet is to the Sun, the less time it needs to make as around
In orbit.
an orbit around the Sun.
Mercury.
Is the closest planet on the Sun. It needs just 88
just told us about right there? That was some pretty important information, Zayden.
That Neptune takes 165 years to orbit the sun once.
Right. So is Neptune closer to the sun or farther away from the sun?
Farther.
Farther away. So the farther away we get from the sun, it takes what?
Longer
To orbit the sun. And the closer you are to the sun, the less time it takes to orbit the sun. So which planet is closest to the sun? Mercury. And how many days, or not days, how many days does it take Mercury to orbit that sun? 88 days. And then Zayden told us Neptune is the furthest away, and it takes 165 years. Does it take us years to orbit the sun? No, right? It only takes us 365 days. So imagine how far away Neptune actually is from the sun. All right, everybody go ahead and turn to page 28. So what is the, although it's closest to the sun, it's also the smallest. Good. Please choose someone else.
From the sun, and it is closest to Earth. This planet was named after the Roman goddess of love. For a long time, scientists thought that Venus might be a lot like Earth. After all, it is close to Earth. It is about the same size as Earth. It is covered with clouds like Earth, but this idea turned out to be wrong. We know that Venus and Earth are different in lots of ways.
Good. So what's the second planet from the sun?
Venus.
So it goes Mercury, Venus. Let's find out what else we're going to figure out. Go ahead and choose someone, Brantley.
Scientists had to change their ideas to fit new facts. They have now concluded that Venus is much hotter than Earth. It would not be a good place for us to live or even visit.
Good. Go ahead and flip to the next page. All right, so the closest planet to the sun is
Mars.
The closest planet to the sun is Mercury, and then it goes Venus, and then
Mars.
No. What did it just say? Mars is the fourth. So let's listen. Mercury, then we said Venus, then Earth, then Mars. And what color does Mars look like from Earth? Red. And why does it look like red? Because the rocks contain rust. Good. All right, Brindley, please choose someone else to read. Space.
And robots have landed on Mars. They have taken photographs and also dug up rocks.
frozen water, right? And why did they say it was important that they found ice or frozen water on Mars? Because why? Please raise your hand before you answer. Why was it really important that they found frozen water? What did that mean, Zayden?
That there could be life.
That there could be life, right? Because life needs water in order to live. So that means that there could be life. They're saying that there isn't any right now, but at one time there could have been maybe. So let's go over the order of which our planets are sitting so far, right? Mars is our last one we're going to talk about today. So we have the sun. Then we have Mercury, and Mercury is also the smallest planet. Good. What's after Mercury? Venus. What is Venus like? Venus has lots of, what did it say? No, let's look back. What did it say? Venus is similar to Earth because why?
Because it has cloudy.
Because it's very cloudy like Earth, and it's also the same size as Earth. But what makes it different than Earth? It's way too hot. Okay, so we have Mercury being the smallest, Venus being cloudy, the same size as Earth, and too hot. Then we have Earth. No, listen please. We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, and then what's the last one we talked about today? Mars. And Mars is what color? Red. And why is it red?
Because it contains rocks that have rust.
Because it contains lots of rocks that have rust. Good. And is there life on Mars right now? No, but why do they think that there could have been life on Mars? Because they found frozen water. Good. So go ahead and flip back to the first page that this chapter started on, which was page 24. And take a look at your worksheet 3.1. 3.1. So it says, if a statement is true, write true on the line. And if a statement is false, write false on the line. We also have to find the page numbers in which we find these. Okay? So number 1 says, Venus is a good place for us to live and visit. Please raise your hand if you think this is true or false, and let me know. Kinsey?
False.
False. Good. It is false. Make sure you're spelling false correctly because it's also in the directions. F-A-L-S-E. And what page can we find that on, Kinsey? Page 28. Good. So that is an example of what you're going to do from 1 through 4. Please turn your paper over to number 5.
Whoa.
Number 5 says, write an interesting fact about Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Do not use a fact from the earlier questions on this worksheet. So, where can we find an interesting fact about Mercury? Please tell me a page number where we can find an interesting fact about Mercury. Page 26. Good. You can find an interesting fact about Mercury on page 26. What about Venus? Where can you find an interesting fact about Venus?
28.
Page 28. And where can you find an interesting fact about Mars?
30.
Connor. Page 30. Good. So you just need to write down one sentence that has an interesting fact about Mercury on page 26, Venus on page 28, and Mars on page 30. Everybody understand?
Yeah.
Okay? And then number 6 says compare and contrast an inner planet and our moon. So, on the inner planet number 1, it says size. So, an inner planet, what would the size be compared to the moon? Think about our inner planets, the 4 that we just talked about today. What would be the size of an inner planet compared to the moon? Mercury? Are they the same size as the moon?
No.
No, right? So sizes vary. So I would put sizes vary on both sides. Sizes vary. Put that on both sides. V-A-R-Y. On both sides, you need to put sizes vary. Or no, on inner planets, you need to put sizes vary. Put sizes vary on both sides. We'll make it easy. Okay? So let's go down on just the moon side. What kind of surface is the moon have? Is it a smooth surface? Does it smooth? No. So what kind of surface does it have?
Rough.
Rough. R-O-U-G-H. Rough. Nope, we're just focusing on the moon. What about the appearance? What is the appearance of the moon? What's the appearance of the moon? Yeah, what does the moon look like?
Gray.
Gray. So G-R-E-Y. And also, what does it look like? It has what? Craters, right? So C-R-A. T-U-R-E-S. Hey, we're focusing on the moon, and you're writing not the way you're supposed to be writing. We're on appearance. Okay, so for appearance, you should have written gray and craters. And what's an interesting fact about the moon? Can anyone think of one interesting fact about the moon? What? Is there gravity on the moon?
It's normal. Sometimes there's like a face on the moon, like the man on the moon.
Kind of. What about the U.S. has landed on the moon, right? That would be an interesting fact, okay? So put U.S., capital U, period, capital S, period, capital A, period, has landed on the moon. Okay, so you should have only filled out the side that says moon, correct? That's the only side you're working in. And then the first box, we put sizes vary.
That's the only one we bring.
Okay? So when you're doing inner planet, think of one inner planet. I don't care which inner planet you choose. It can be any of the inner planets. And you're going to write down what the surface is like, what the appearance is like, and one interesting fact. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
So you can choose the planets we've talked about, which are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Okay? And you're going to compare it to the moon. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Are there any questions before you get started on this worksheet by yourself?
Wait, can
No.
we work together?
You can work with the people right next to you. No moving chairs, okay? Just work with the people right next to you. What do you need?
I'll put this red on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other questions before we get started? All right, you may go ahead and get started on your worksheet. As long as it's someone next to your area and you're not